Hello, book lovers and English learners. Welcome to Lydia's Book Club podcast, your weekly dose of reading in English. I'm Lydia Bureau. I'm an English teacher in France and also the founder of Lydia's Book Club, a book club for learners of English and non-native English speakers. I am also uh, an English non-native English speaker, sorry, a book club for learners of English and non-native English speakers who want to maintain their good level. In this book club, I host live readings and live discussion workshops on adaptations of classics of literature and contemporary novels in their original text. I also tend to prioritize books that are written by women. Each month, we read and explore a different book for all levels of English. For the next 2 months, we are going to read this original text. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, published in 2022. For this book, you need a strong B2 upper intermediate or C1 advanced level in English to be able to appreciate the book and also understand most of the book. With the members of the book club, we've decided to read this book because our last read was It Ends With Us. And this book, it Starts With Us, is the sequel of this one. And it just made sense for us to read It Starts With Us right after It Ends With Us. And if you don't know anything about this book or Colleen Hoover's work, then I invite you to listen to the podcast episode 30, where I talk more about It Starts With Us and a little bit of It Ends With Us. And you can also find all the live readings of It Ends With Us on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, and on Spotify, because in it, well, if you haven't read It Ends With Us, then I advise you to read It Ends With Us first, and then read this book, because otherwise you might miss out on some important parts of the plot. So you really need to read It Ends With Us first. So if you read It Ends With Us, then it's perfect. You can definitely either, if you read it in your own language, then It Starts With Us will be a great way to improve your English and really practice your reading skills in English. So today it is our fifth live reading session, and we're going to read chapters 10 and 11. If you would like to attend this live reading, then you just need to subscribe to the newsletter, and you will get your free link and you'll be able to join me on Zoom. And after the after the reading of the two chapters, I will allow time for you to ask me any questions that you might have about the book, but also about the book club. So it's actually the best way to get in touch with me, or get in contact with me, or just have the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have, and also maybe have the little push to get you started with reading. So I really recommend you to join us live, and because it will be the best way for you to get to improve your reading and comprehension skills, and you also get the chance to ask me any questions. On Saturday, the 29th of March, I will host the first live discussion workshop about this book. We will discuss chapters 1 to 14. This is a live discussion that is only available for the members of the book club. So for that, you need to become a member, and to become a member, you just need to go to lidisbookclub.com or click on the link in the description and just subscribe. You can either subscribe monthly or annually. This is up to you, and you can cancel at any time. Um, but if you really are committed to improve and practice your reading skills and speaking, then I think it would be um, more beneficial for you if you stay as much as you can. So, where was I? So this live discussion is a private conversation on Zoom that I don't post on YouTube. It's something that it stays on my website. And if you um, want to join, you just click on the link in the description. And I really recommend you to join the live discussion workshop, because this time it will be the best way for you to improve your speaking skills and your fluency in English, and develop your critical thinking skills. But it's also a fantastic way to meet the other members of the book club and be fully part of this community. And last thing, I'm pleased to announce that you can now purchase the live workshop of It Ends With Us, our January and February live read along. So, as I mentioned earlier, the live discussion workshops are private conversations, and I compiled them all in one space in my website. And you can purchase the complete series of all the live workshop that we've recorded on It Ends With Us. So you just go to the workshop store of the book club, and you choose out of all the workshop that we've done, all the books that we've read since last year. You choose which one you want to listen to and read at the same time. And once you buy one of these workshops, you have a private access to it, because you need to log in to create your own login, etc. And you will have a private access of all the videos in the workshop of the this specific workshop that you purchased. Right. So, and you can find the link in the description of this video as well. Right. So let's get started. Before I start reading. Oh, okay. So it just wanted to check something. Yeah. So before I get started with the reading of chapter 10, I'm going to do a quick recap of chapter 8 and 9, as I usually do. So it helps everyone to refresh, me including myself, to refresh a little bit our memory about the events that happened in the previous chapters. So in chapter 8, Lily and Ryan, no, it's not Ryan anymore. Well, not as much. So Lily and Atlas are on the phone. Atlas surprised Lily by FaceTiming her. And so they're having a little conversation on the phone. and just casual conversation. Hi, Lily. Oh, hi, Katie. Lily. No, not Lily. Hi, Katie. Thank you for joining this live. So, so Lily is on the phone with Atlas, and they're reminiscing memories about their childhood, and at some point, well, and Ryle also, and at some point, and about Ryle, sorry, because Atlas is wondering uh, why Ryle is so jealous of him. He doesn't understand why he would not accept Lily and him dating. So Lily is yeah, trying to just explain him talking about Ryle and the fact that yeah, she's telling him that why she was still with Ryle the night uh, he was before he started being really violent with her. He had read her journals or some parts of her journals. So she tells him that he knows that Ryan knows about their past, about Lily and Atlas's past, and the fact that they were in love when they were together, when they were younger. So after that, Atlas actually asks Lily to read some entries of her journal. He's very curious to know what she'd read, what she had written in her book, in her journal, and and Lily starts reading some passages, and that takes them back to tough times as well. And they're being a little bit nostalgic at this point. And chapter 9, Atlas is telling his side of the story, and we have uh, Atlas uh, at his restaurant, and he is talking with he's with Theo, this little this teenage boy that he's using, well, that he's taking for his therapist. He is actually Brad's son, so Atlas's friend. Uh, so Brad is Atlas's friend, and he has a son, and the son is Theo. And he's 12, but he appears much more mature than 12. And Theo is curious to know how or to see how Lily looks like. And so Atlas took a picture of Lily when they were FaceTiming, and he showed her to him. And right after their conversation, Lily phones. Uh, she's calling Atlas, and then we learn that Atlas lied to Lily when they were young. So Atlas mentioned that he had an uncle. I don't know if you remember, but in It Ends With Us, Atlas told Lily that he had to leave because his uncle was living in Boston and he was back, and he could he could look after him. And it was actually not true, but Atlas took the decision to lie to Lily because winter was approaching and he couldn't, he knew that their arrangement of him going to her bedroom, sneaking into her bedroom at night was not sustainable, and that at some point he would have to stop. And the house was freezing cold, and it was not yet really cold. Well, it wasn't very deep winter, and he knew that he needed to leave that place, that Boston had shelters and more resources than this little town where they lived. So he didn't want Lily to worry about him, so he made up that story with his uncle. And we learned that in chapter 9. Um, when was this? On Wednesday, was it? Yeah, no, on Thursday I read this chapter, and we were quite shocked to learn that this was a lie. And it's a nice twist from It Ends With Us book, because yeah, we didn't suspect at any point that that was a lie. Or personally, I did not suspect that this could be a lie. Although it's true now, looking back, that this uncle just appeared out of the blue um, in Atlas's story. So, so now it makes sense that this was too good to be true in a way for for this young man. And then there is a funny moment where Lily drops the phone, or the phone falls on the bed, and Atlas sees that Lily is actually breastfeeding while she's talking to him. So she's breastfeeding Emerson, or Emmy, and he catch a little glimpse of Lily's breasts because she's changing sides, and and that makes a little bit of a comical moment in this chapter. And that's about it. And they agreed to have a date, to meet at some point for a date. So let's see if they finally manage to have a date together. Right. So, chapter 10, Lily. Mom, it's fine. Really. I'm holding the phone between my cheek and my neck. I'm already at Elisa's. It's not an inconvenience at all. Are you sure? Rob said he could watch her. No, Rob needs to take care of you. Okay, tell Emmy her nanny is sorry. Nanny? Is that what you're going? Is that what you're going by now? I'm trying it out, she says. I didn't like Grandma. She's referred to herself as a grandmother in 4 different ways since Emmy was born, but none of them have stuck yet. Love you, Mum. Hope you feel better. Love you too. I end the call and then grab Emmy out of her car seat. I'm relieved to see Riles' car. I'm relieved to see Riles' car isn't in his assigned spot. I wasn't planning on coming to the building where he and Elisa both have apartments, but my mother and Emmy came down with the same illness this week. When I picked her up from my mother's yesterday, Emmy had a slight fever. It picked around 2 in the morning, and nothing I did helped. It was it was gone by the time I had to get ready for work today, though. But then it hit my mother this afternoon with a vengeance. And I had to go pick up Emmy in the middle of the workday. I had a little bit of a panic moment because tonight is my date with Atlas. I thought it was going to I thought I was going to have to cancel, but Elisa saved the day. I didn't tell her why I needed a sitter in the sense babysitter. I texted her and asked if she could watch Emmy for a few hours this afternoon and into tonight. And she responded with one word, gimme. This is a shortened way to say give her to me, or give it, but it's a little baby, so we say give her to me. I warned her that Emmy had a fever last night, but Emmy and Riley spent so much time together, we stopped worrying about one getting the other sick months ago. The other, about one getting the other sick months ago, since it happens every other week. Emmy probably got the fever from Riley to begin with. I now I knock on Alyssa's door, and when she opens it, she's immediately grabbing for Emerson. Come here, she says. She pulls Emerson to her and squeezes her. She smells so good. Riley doesn't smell like a baby anymore. Oh, sorry, this is Elisa's talking. She smells so good. Riley doesn't smell like a baby anymore. Makes me sad. She pushes the door open to invite me in, and when I walk inside holding the diaper bag, Elisa finally registers my outfit. Hold up, she says. She points a finger up and down my body. What's this? Why am I babysitting? I really don't want to tell her where I'm going, but it's Elisa. She reads me better than anyone. She can see the hesitation on my face and takes it for exactly what it is. Is this a date outfit? She whispers it and then closes the front door. Is it the Greek? Is it the Greek god? Atlas, basically. Atlas? Yes. Please don't tell your brother. Right when I say that, I notice Marshall standing close by in the living room. He immediately covers his ears and says, I heard nothing. I see nothing. La 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 la. He walks through the foyer and just disappears into the kitchen. Elisa brushes his presence. I'm sorry. Elisa brushes his presence off with a wave. He's so good at being neutral. Don't worry about him. She motions for me to follow her into the living room. Riley is in the play. Riley is the playpen. Yeah, a playpen is actually. I searched for this because this is actually a specific thing for baby. This is basically a little uh, play park. In French, we use it as we use the term park in the sense that it's like a little space, a little thing that you buy and that folds and unfolds for babies to have space to play and with little walls, I would say, so that they stay inside. Not a cage. This is not a cage, but like a play, like a little space with protection so that they Don't go away. So that's a playpen. So Elisa walks Emmy over to her. Riley, look who's here. Riley smiles when she sees Emmy. The girls are starting to show excitement in each other's presence. I love that they're not too far apart in age. The 6 month gap feels smaller and smaller the older Emmy gets. Where is he taking you? I smooth my hands down my outfit and then flick off a piece of lint. To dinner, but I've never been to this place. I hope I'm not overdressed. Is this your first date with him? You seem nervous. It is our first date, and I am nervous, but it's a different kind of nervous, a good nervous. I know him so well already, so I don't feel like I'm about to have to spend an evening with a stranger. Elisa studies me for a moment with gentle eyes. You seem excited. I've missed this side of you. Mm. Yeah, me too. I bend to give both Emmy and Riley kisses. I won't be out too late. I have to get back to the shop and close up for Lucy. So he's picking me up there. I should be back around 9:30. So try to keep her up until then, if you don't mind. Why are you coming back so early? That's lame. I didn't sleep last night. I'm exhausted, but I don't want to cancel the date, so I'm going to power through. Ah, motherhood, Elisa says, rolling her eyes. I keep her awake. Go have fun. Drink a drink a coffee or five or a 5 hour or something. 5 hour is probably an energy drink. I don't know. I've lost count of the number of coffees I've had today. Love you. Thanks for saving the day. I say on my way out the door. That's what I'm here for. She sings songs. Maybe she's saying that in a way she's thinking, that's why I'm here for. Maybe, I don't know. Right. Chapter 11. Atlas. Well, Atlas is the narrator. I wanted the day to go by faster, so I decided to help out in the kitchen at Bib's help out in the kitchen at Bib's, even though I prepared for the night with a full staff. Now I smell like garlic. This is the third time I've tried scrubbing the smell off to no avail. But if I don't leave now, I'll be late meeting her. We're taking it slow, so I'm picking her up at her work rather than her apartment. I have no idea where she lives now, or if she still lives in the apartment building I showed up at almost 2 years ago when she needed help. For whatever reason, where we live is something that hasn't come up in our conversations. She probably doesn't even know I sold my house and moved into the city earlier this year. I'm curious how far apart we live from each other now. I smell cologne, Darren says after he passes me. He stops walking toward the freezer and turns to give me a once over. Why are you wearing cologne? Why are you dressed up? I I sniff my hands. I don't smell like garlic. No, you smell like you're going out. Are you living? I am living. I'll be back around closing time though. I think I might stay the night here and see if I can catch whoever is vandalizing the restaurants. There were several they were There were several days of a quiet stretch between incidents, but we got hit for a fourth time last night. It wasn't too costly though. This time they just scattered the trash everywhere again. That's a lot easier to clean up than repainting. than repainting has been. That may be because Brad keeps bringing Theo to help. I should probably give Theo a heads up that the more he complains about a chore, the more likely he's going to be made to do that chore. I plan to confront whoever is doing the damage tonight and see if I can't figure out their motive and talk them down before I get the police involved. I'm confident most things can be handled with a simple, honest conversation rather than a dramatic intervention. But I have no idea who I'm dealing with. Darren leans in and quietly says, "Who are you going out with? Lily?" I dry my hands on a towel and nod once. Darren smiles and walks away. I lie that my friends like Lily. They brought her up a couple of times after our poker night, but I think they could tell it bothered me. I didn't like discussing Lily when she wasn't a part of my life. But now it looks like there's a possibility she's back in the picture. Maybe. This might be why I'm so nervous, because I know what a huge risk Lily is taking by going out with me tonight. If things progress with us, that could impact her life in negative ways, which might be why I started to feel the immense pressure 2 hours ago of making sure this date is worth it for her. I so considerate. Oh God. We should call him Considerate Atlas. But I feel like I'm terrified of vampires, so it's already not going my way. I pull into the parking lot at 5 minutes to 6. Lily must have been waiting for me because she exits her store and locks the door behind her before I'm even out of my car. As soon as I lay eyes on her, I get even more nervous. She looks incredible. She's wearing a black jumpsuit and heels. She pulls on her jack she pulls on her jacket and meets me in the middle of the parking lot. I lean in and greet her with a quick kiss on her cheek. You look stunning. I swear, she reddens a little after I say that. Do I? I didn't sleep last night. I feel like I look 90. Why didn't you sleep? Emmy ran a few sorry. Emmy ran a f- Emmy ran a fever last night. She's better now, but Lily yawns. I'm sorry, I just drank coffee. I hit it in a minute. It will heat it in a minute. It healed it. Oh my God, this is it it heated it'll oh my God, I don't know. Anyway, it'll heat in a minute. It will hit in a minute. Anyway, it's okay. I'm not tired, but I do smell like garlic. I like garlic. Good thing. Lily leans back on her heels and looks down at her outfit. I wasn't sure what to wear since I've never been to this restaurant. I've never been there either, so I have no idea. But I have a feeling you'll be fine. I chose a new restaurant I've been wanting to try. It's about a 45-minute drive. But I figured that would give us time to catch up on the way over. I have a present for you, she says. It's in my car. Let me grab it. I follow her to her car and watch her retrieve something from the console. When she hands it to me, I can't hold back a smile. Is this your journal? She read another quick passage to me last night, but she was so embarrassed reading it out loud. She refused to give me more. That's one of them. We'll see how tonight goes before I give you the other one. No pressure or anything. I walk her to my car and open the passenger door for her. She starts to yawn again as I'm closing her door. I feel bad, like maybe she's too exhausted for this date. I have no idea what it's like to raise a child. I feel kind of selfish that I'm not offering to reschedule. So before I back out at the bu- so before I back out of the parking lot, I speak up. If you'd rather go home and sleep, we can do this next weekend. There's nothing else I'd rather do than this, Atlas. I'll sleep when I'm dead. She clicks her seatbelt. You actually do smell like garlic. I think she's kidding. Lily used to joke all the time when we were younger. It's one of this it's one of the things I loved most about her, that she always seemed to be in the good mood despite all the bad things surrounding her. It's that same strength I admired in her in the days I was with her after she found out she was pregnant in the emergency room. I know that I know that was one of the lowest points of her life, but she was able to smile through it all and even spent an entire evening impressing my friends with her humor during a poker night. Everyone handles stress differently, and none of those ways is necessarily wrong, but Lily handles it with grace. And grace just happens to be the quality I find the most attractive in people. How do you manage to get away on a Saturday night? Lily asks. I hate that I'm driving because I want to look at her while I respond. I've never seen her look this womanly. Is that a compliment? I don't even know. I probably shouldn't say it out loud in case it isn't, but when Lily and I fell in love, neither of us were what we would now consider adults. But it's different tonight. We're grown-ups with careers, and she is a mother and a boss and independent. It's sexy as hell. This is really a book written by a woman because I don't recall, I don't know, that in the book, a male character would say that being a boss is sexy as hell. Talking about a woman, even though he's in love with that person. So, I like it. The only other time I've spent with her as adults was when she was technically still with Rye, so it felt wrong thinking of her the way I am now. Like, I want her. I keep my focus on the road and try not to create a lull in our conversation, but I think I might be a little flustered. That surprises me. How did I manage getting away? I say, where, what were they? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had lost track of their conversation. How did I manage getting away? I say, pretending like I'm mulling over the question rather than obsessing about how much I want to stare at her. I hire dependable people. Lily smiles at that. Do you always work on Wednesdays? On weekends, sorry. On weekends? I nod. I usually only take off Sundays when we're closed. The occasional Monday. What do you enjoy the most about your job? She's full of questions tonight. I give her a sidelong glance and smile. Reading reviews? Reading the reviews? She makes a noise like she's shocked. I'm sorry, she says. Did you say reviews? You read your restaurant reviews? Every single one. What? What? My God, you must not have a single insecurity. I make Serena run our social media so I can avoid reviews. Your reviews are great. She practically turns her entire body toward me in the seat. You read my reviews? Mhm. I read reviews for anyone I know who owns a business. Is that weird? It's not weird. I flip on my blinker. I like reading reviews. I feel like business reviews are a reflection of the owner, and I want to know what people think of my restaurants. The constructive criticism helps. I haven't had the kitchen experience a lot. I haven't had the kitchen experience a lot. A lot. Sorry. I haven't had the kitchen experience a lot of chefs have, and critics are some of the best teachers. What do you get out of reading reviews other that about other people's businesses? Nothing really. I just find it entertaining. Do you have any bad ones? Lily looks away from me, half turning so that she's facing forward again. Never mind, don't answer that. I'm just going to pretend they're all good and that everyone loves my flowers. Everyone does love your flowers. She presses her lips together in an attempt to suppress her smile. What's your least favorite part of your job? I love that she's asking me such random questions. It reminds me of all the nights we would stay up late and she would pepper me with questions about myself. Up until last week, it was health inspections. I admit they're extremely stressful. Why up until last week? What changed? The vandalism. Did it happen again? Yeah, twice this week. And you still have no idea who it is? I shake my head. No clue. Do you have any angry ex-girlfriends? No, I doubt it. They don't seem the type. Lily kicks off her heels and pulls one of her legs into her seat, making herself more comfortable. How many serious relationships have you had? She's going there. Okay. Define serious? I don't know, more than 2 months? One, I say. How long were you together? A little more than a year. I met her while I was in the military. Why'd you break up? Why, why'd you break up? We moved in together. That's why you broke up? I think leaving, I think living together escalated the realization that we were incompatible. Or maybe we were just at different points in our lives. I was focused on my career, and her focus was on which outfits to wear to the clubs I was too tired to go to with her. When I got when I got ha when I got out of the military and moved back to Boston, she stayed behind and moved into a loft with two of her friends. Lily laughs. I cannot picture you in a club. Yeah, that's why I'm single, I guess. My phone rings with an income call from Corrigan's, interrupting us before I'm able to throw her to throw her own questions back at her. Her own question back at her. I have to take this, I say. Go ahead. I answer the call over Bluetooth. It ends up being a freezer issue that requires me to make two more phone calls before I've got it sorted out. And a repair technician on the way there. When I'm finally able to give my attention back to Lily, I glance over at her and find her asleep, a head limp against her shoulder. I hear a dainty snore coming from her. The coffee never kicked in, I guess. I let her sleep all the way to the restaurant. We pull in about 10 minutes to 7. It's dark and the restaurant looks crowded, but we have a few minutes before I have to check in for our reservation. So I let her so I let her rest. A snore is as endearing as she is. It's delicate, almost too light to hear. I take a quick video I can use to tease her later. To tease her with later. And then I reach into the back seat and grab her journal. I know she said not to read it in front of her, but technically I'm not. She's asleep. I open it to the first page and begin reading. I read the first entry completely captivated. I feel like I'm breaking a rule reading this, but she's the one who brought it. I read the second entry, then the third, then I log into my reservation app and cancel our reservation because unless I wake her up this very second, we're going to be late. I'd rather our table to go to someone else because Lily looks like she's been needing the sleep for a while. And I want to read another entry. I'll take her somewhere else for dinner once she wakes up. Every word she wrote is taking me right back to when we were teenagers. There are so many times I want to laugh at the things she says and how she says them, but I stifle my laughter that I don't startle her. In the sense, startle so I don't wake her up. I eventually read a passage that I'm almost positive is leading up to our first kiss. I look at the clock and we've already been sitting here for half an hour. But Lily is still sound asleep, and I can't stop in the middle of the entry. I keep reading, hoping she stays asleep long enough for me to get to the end of this one. I need to tell you something, he said. I held my breath, not knowing what he was going to say. I got in touch with my uncle today. My mom and I used to live with him in Boston. He told me once he gets back from his work trip, I can stay with him. The infamous lie about the uncle. I should have been so happy for him that moment. I should have smiled and told him congratulations, but I felt all of the immaturity of my age when I closed my eyes and felt sorry for myself. Are you going? I asked. He shrugged. I don't know. I wanted to talk to you about it first. He was so close to me on the bed. I could feel the warmth of his breath. I also noticed he smelled like mint, and it made me wonder if he uses bottled water to brush his teeth before he comes over here. I always send him home every day with lots of water. I brought my hand up to the pillow and started pulling at a feather sticking out of it. When I got it all the way out, I twisted it between my fingers. I don't know what to say, Atlas. I'm happy you have a place to stay. But what about school? I could finish down there, he said. I nodded. It sounded like he had already made up his mind. When are you leaving? I wondered how far away Boston is. It's probably a few hours, but that's a whole world away when you don't own a car. I don't know for sure that I am. I dropped the feather back onto the pillow and brought my hand to my side. What's stopping you? Your uncle is offering you a place to stay. That's good, right? He tightened his lips together and nodded. Then he picked up the feather. Then he picked up the feather I'd been playing with, and he started twisting it between his fingers. He laid it back down on the pillow, and then he did something I wasn't expecting. He moved his fingers to my lips, and he touched them. God, Ellen, I thought I was going to die right then and there. It was the most I'd ever felt inside my body at one time. He kept his fingers there for a few seconds. And he said, "Thank you, Lily, for everything." He moved his fingers up through my hair, and then he leaned forward and planted a kiss on my forehead. Forehead. I was breathing so hard I had to open my mouth to catch more air. I could see his chest moving just as hard as mine was. He looked down at me, and I watched as his eyes went right to my mouth. Have you ever been kissed, Lily? I shook my head no and tilted my face up to his because I needed him to change that right then and there, or I wasn't gonna be able to breathe. Then, almost as if I were made of eggshells, he lowered his mouth to mine and just rested there. I didn't know what to do next, but I didn't care. I didn't care if we just stayed like that all night and never even moved our mouth. It was everything. His lips closed over mine, and I could and I could kind of feel his hand shaking. I did what he was doing and started to move my lips like he was. I felt the tip of his tongue brush across my lips once, and I thought my eyes were about to roll back in my head. He did it again, and then a third time, so I finally did it too. When our tongues touched for the first time, I kind of smiled a little because I thought about my first kiss a lot. Where it would be, who it would be with. Never a million years did I imagine it would feel like this. He pushed me on my back and pressed his hand against my cheek and kept kissing me. It just got better and better as I grew more comfortable. My favorite moment when he pulled back for a second and looked down at me, then came back even harder. I don't know how long we kissed, a long time. So long my mouth started to hurt and my eyes couldn't stay open. When we fell asleep, I'm pretty sure his mouth was still touching mine. We didn't talk about Boston again. I still don't know if he's leaving. Lily. Wow. Wow. I closed the journal and looked over at Lily. She wrote our first kiss with so much detail. It makes me feel inferior to my teenage self. Did it actually happen that way? I remember that night, but I was a hell of a lot more nervous than Lily describes me to be. It's funny how, when you're a teenager, you think you're the only inexperienced, nervous human on the planet. You think almost every other teenager has life figured out way better than you do. But it isn't that way at all. We were both scared and infatuated and in love. I had fallen in love with her long before our first kiss, though. I loved her more than I had ever loved anyone before that moment. I think I loved her more than I have ever loved anyone after that moment. I think I still might. There's so much Lily doesn't know about that part of my life. So much I want to tell her now that I've read her version of some of our time together. It's obvious she has no clue how instrumental she was in my life back then. At a time when everyone was turning their backs to me, Lily was the only one who stepped up. She's still around. She still sound asleep. So I pull out my phone and open a blank note. I start typing, detailing what my life was like before she entered it. I don't mean to write as much as I do. I don't mean to write as much as I do, but I guess I have a lot I want to say to her. It's another 20 minutes before I finally finish typing everything, and another 5 minutes before Lily finally begins to rouse. I set my phone in the cup holder, unsure if I'm going to allow her to read what I just wrote. I might wait a few days, a few weeks. She wants to take things slow, and I'm not sure what I said toward the end of what letter. And I'm not sure what I said toward the end of that letter matches. And oh, sorry. She wants to take things slow, and I'm not sure what I said toward the end of that letter matches her ID of slow. Her hand goes up and she scratches her head. She's facing the window, so I don't see her face when her eyes open, but I can tell when she's awake because she sits straight up. She sits straight up. She stares out her window. She stares out her window for a beat, then swings her head in my direction. A few strands of hair are stuck to her cheek. I'm leaning against my door, watching her casually as if this is completely normal first date behavior. Atlas, she says my name like it's an apology and a question at the same time. It's okay. You were tired. She grabs her phone and looks at the time. Oh my God! She leans forward, pressing her elbows into her thighs and her face into her palms. I can't believe this. Lily, it's fine, really. I hold up the journal. You kept me company. She eyes the journal and then groans. This is mortifying. I toss the journal into the back seat. I personally found I personally found it enlightening. Lily hits me playfully on my shoulder. Stop laughing. I feel too bad for it to be funny. Don't feel bad. You're exhausted and probably hungry. We could grab a burger and drive back. On the drive back, Lily falls dramatically against her seat. Let the fancy chef take the girl for fast food since she slept through her date. Why not? She flips the visor down and notices the hair stuck to her cheek. Wow, I'm such a mom. Is this our last date? It is. Did I ruin this already? I wouldn't blame you. I put the car in reverse. Not even close after everything I just read. Not sure anything could not sure anything could stop could oh, sorry. Not even close everything after everything I just read. Not sure anything could top this date. You have very low standards, Atlas. I find her self-deprecation adorably attractive. I have a question about your journal. What? She's wiping a, she's wiping away a smear of mascara. Everything about her seems so defeated now that she thinks she ruined our date. I can't stop smiling though. The night of our first kiss, did you put the blanket on the washer on did you put the blankets on the washer on purpose? Was that a trick to get me to sleep in your bed? She scrunches up her nose. You read that far? You were asleep for you were asleep for a long time. She contemplates my question and then nods in admit and nods and then nods an admission. I wanted you to be my first kiss back then, and that wouldn't have happened if you kept sleeping on the floor. She's probably right about that. And it worked. It's still working because you're reading her description of a first kiss. It, oh, sorry. And it worked. It's still It's still working because reading her description of our first kiss brought back every feeling she pulled out of me that night. She could sleep the entire way back home, and I'd still think this was the best date I've ever been on. So, a question of perspective. And this is the end of chapter 11. Um, this is a very lovely chapter and full of memories and nostalgia with between Lily and Atlas. And I hope you enjoyed this live reading. Don't hesitate to leave any comments or reflections about these chapters. I love to read what you have to say. And I really hope that you'll be able to join us next time. It will be next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central European Time, and we will read chapter 12. See you soon. Bye bye.